The Kethvar hegemony had built their reputation on precision. 300 years of conquest, 47 subjugated species, and not once had they required more than a single orbital bombardment to secure surrender. Their mathematical models were flawless, their intelligence gathering meticulous, and their fleet commanders thoroughly educated in the 17 proven methods of rapid planetary pacification, which made the current debate aboard the flagship Relentless Calculation somewhat embarrassing. "Fleet Admiral," said strategic analyst Vorth Khan, his crystalline carapace clicking with nervous energy. "Perhaps we should reconsider the deployment scale. Our target is, well, it's 47 humans on a mining platform." Admiral Kesevar's sensory stalks swiveled toward the holographic display showing Terminus Ridge, humanity's so-called border outpost. The structure looked like someone had welded a truck stop to an asteroid and hoped for the best. "You're suggesting we reduce our fleet size?" "The tactical algorithms recommend 12 ships maximum for this level of threat assessment. We're bringing 300. Our logistics division is filing formal complaints about fuel waste." Commander Thexnall, whose species evolved from pack hunters and therefore trusted nothing that looked too easy, flexed her 6 arms dismissively. "Intelligence reports indicate humans possess unknown defensive capabilities. Better to overwhelm than underestimate." "Unknown defensive capabilities?" Vorthkhan's carapace brightened to an incredulous amber. "Our intercepts show them arguing about coffee rationing and complaining that their atmospheric recycler makes weird noises. Yesterday, their most pressing security concern was whether someone left the airlock unlocked again. The intercepted transmissions had been playing on background monitors for weeks. Human communication protocols were refreshingly simple. No encryption, no code phrases, just direct complaints about mundane problems. The intelligence division had compiled 17 hours of recordings featuring discussions about lunch schedules, equipment maintenance, and something called football, which appeared to involve ritualized territorial disputes over an inflated sphere. Over 97% of viewers here are watching without subscribing. Don't be one of them. Hit that subscribe button right now and join the journey. Every click helps us grow stronger, and you'll never miss the next epic story. "Perhaps," offered Navigation Officer Zeftal, "we could simply ask them to surrender? Save everyone some time?" Admiral Kesevar's primary combat tentacle twitched, a gesture that had made subordinates nervous for decades. "The hegemony does not ask. We demonstrate overwhelming force, receive immediate capitulation, and move forward with integration protocols. It's worked for 3 centuries." "Sir," interrupted communications specialist Rendar, "we're receiving another human transmission from the target station." "Put it through." The holographic display shimmered, revealing 2 humans in what appeared to be their command center. One was examining a maintenance panel with the sort of casual attention typically reserved for checking the weather. The other was eating something from a wrapper. "Telling you, Marcus, that grinding sound is getting worse," the first human said, poking at exposed wiring with a metal tool. "We should probably fix it before it breaks completely." "Can't be that urgent, Vex," replied the second, whose name tag read Maintenance Coordinator. "Been making that noise for 6 months. Besides, procurement says replacement parts won't arrive until next quarter." "What if it's life support?" "Then we'll die slowly instead of quickly. Want half my sandwich?" The transmission cut to static. The bridge fell silent except for the gentle humming of the Relentless Calculations engines and the soft clicking of Vorthkhan's increasingly agitated carapace. "They're discussing lunch," Commander Thexnall observed, "while their equipment fails around them." "It's clearly a psychological warfare tactic," Admiral Kesevar decided, "attempting to project false calm to make us overconfident." "Or," suggested Vorthkhan, "they genuinely don't care about dying and have accepted their fate with admirable stoicism." "Or they're idiots," added Navigation Officer Zeftal helpfully. Admiral Kesevar extended his command appendage toward the tactical display. 300 Kethvar warships hung in formation, each one capable of sterilizing a small moon. Irrelevant. We follow doctrine. Overwhelming force, immediate surrender, rapid integration. Signal the fleet. Attack formation 17 Alpha. All weapons hot. Sir, communications specialist Rendar's voice carried a note of confusion. The humans are broadcasting again. Another hologram materialized. This time it showed a human female adjusting what appeared to be a mining laser while consulting a handheld device. "Hey Marcus," she called over her shoulder. "Did you remember to calibrate the proximity sensors on the automated defense grid?" "What defense grid?" came Marcus's voice from off-screen. "The one engineering installed last month. You know, those things that look like decorative sculptures but are actually—" The transmission cut out again. The bridge crew exchanged what could generously be called concerned glances. "Defense grid," repeated Commander Thexanol slowly. "Automated," added Navigation Officer Zeftal. "Disguised as sculptures," concluded Strategic Analyst Vorthkan, his carapace now pulsing an alarmed orange. Admiral Kesevar's sensory stalks drooped slightly. "Activate deep scanning protocols. Full spectrum analysis of the target station." The results appeared on the tactical display within moments. Terminus Ridge showed standard human construction, minimal energy signatures, and absolutely no indication of defensive systems beyond basic navigation beacons and mining equipment. "Scanning shows nothing unusual," reported Vorthkan. "Either their stealth technology is beyond our detection capabilities, or that human was referring to actual decorative sculptures. There's a third possibility," suggested Commander Thexnol darkly. "Which is? They're completely insane, and we're about to attack a mining station defended by crazy people with improvised weapons." Admiral Kesevar considered this. In 3 centuries of conquest, the Kethvar had encountered many forms of resistance. Technological superiority, numerical advantage, desperate last stands, even suicide tactics. They had never encountered a species that seemed genuinely unconcerned about impending annihilation while simultaneously discussing lunch plans and equipment maintenance. "All ships," he announced over the fleet communication system, "commence attack in 30 seconds. Target all critical systems simultaneously. This ends quickly." "Sir?" Strategic Analyst Vorthkan's voice carried a final note of uncertainty. "What if we're missing something?" Admiral Kesevar's combat tentacle extended toward the firing controls. "Vorthkan, there are 47 humans on a mining platform held together with what our engineers describe as optimistic welding and prayer. What could we possibly be missing?" The fleet weapons charged with the deep harmonic hum that had announced the fall of 47 worlds. Nobody answered Vorthkan's question. They would learn the answer in approximately 6 minutes. 3 minutes into what should have been a brief and decisive orbital bombardment, Fleet Admiral Kesevar was discovering that the universe possessed a sense of humor significantly darker than hegemony tactical manuals had led him to believe. "Report," he demanded, his sensory stalks rigid with confusion. "Sir," Strategic Analyst Vorthkan's carapace had shifted to a shade of purple that typically indicated either severe stress or imminent molting. 17 of our ships report direct hits on target infrastructure, but the station appears to be intact. Define appears to be. Well, sir, it's still there, and the humans are still talking. The communication feed crackled to life, revealing the same maintenance coordinator from earlier, now examining a wall panel that was sparking enthusiastically. "Vex," Marcus called out. "Something's making the lights flicker." "You think it's that grinding noise getting worse?" "Probably," came the reply from off-screen. "Or maybe it's those weird flashes outside. Been happening for a few minutes now." Marcus peered through what appeared to be an observation port. "Huh. Pretty lights. Kind of like fireworks, but in space. That normal for this sector? How would I know? I fix air recyclers, not whatever that is. The transmission continued as Marcus returned to his panel, apparently having dismissed the ongoing orbital bombardment as a minor curiosity. Commander Thexnol's 6 arms were gesticulating in what her species considered a display of extreme agitation. They're not even taking cover. Who doesn't take cover during an orbital bombardment? Maybe they don't recognize it as an attack, suggested Navigation Officer Zeftal. Our weapons are literally exploding around their station. Yes, but humans might interpret explosions differently than we do. Cultural variations in threat assessment are well documented. Admiral Kesevar's command tentacle was beginning to develop what could only be described as a nervous twitch. Weapons status report. All systems nominal, sir, reported Gunnery Chief Kreldock. We're hitting the target consistently. The problem is, well, sir, it's hard to explain. Try. Our projectiles appear to be hitting some kind of interference field. Not shields. We detect shield generators. It's more like the space around their station is unreliable. Elaborate. Well, sir, we fired 17 plasma bursts at their communications array. 6 hit the target, 8 missed despite perfect targeting solutions. 2 hit what appeared to be asteroids that weren't there 5 seconds earlier, and 1 seems to have hit backwards. Hit backwards? It struck our own ship, sir. The methodical approach reports minor hull damage and requests clarification on friendly fire protocols. The bridge fell into the sort of silence typically reserved for funerals or budget meetings. Sir? Communications Specialist Rendar interrupted. We're receiving a transmission from Terminus Ridge. It's different. A new hologram appeared, showing a human male with grease-stained coveralls and the sort of beard that suggested either profound wisdom or complete indifference to personal grooming. His name tag read, Chief Engineer. This is Chief Engineer Hendricks to whoever's making all that noise out there, he said, adjusting something that looked like it had been assembled from spare parts and wishful thinking. You're interfering with our mining operations. We've got quotas to meet, and your light show is spooking the automated harvesters. Admiral Kesevar leaned forward. Open a channel. Channel open, sir. This is Fleet Admiral Kesevar of the Kethvar Hegemony. You are ordered to surrender immediately or face complete annihilation. The human engineer paused in his work and looked directly at the camera. Well, that's unnecessarily hostile. You folks having some kind of bad day? We are conducting a military operation against your installation. Surrender now and you will be treated according to hegemony integration protocols. Integration protocols? Hendricks scratched his beard thoughtfully. That some kind of corporate restructuring? Because I gotta tell you, our union rep is gonna want to see the paperwork first. Commander Thexnol's arms stopped gesticulating. Did he just negotiate terms? During an active bombardment, confirmed Navigation Officer Zeftal. While asking about paperwork, added Strategic Analyst Vorthkun. Hendricks continued, apparently unaware that his response was causing existential crises across 300 warships. Look, Admiral, can I call you Admiral? We're just trying to run a mining operation here. Got contracts to fulfill, equipment to maintain, and Marcus just figured out how to fix the coffee machine. Today's been pretty good, all things considered. You are under attack! Admiral Kesevar's voice reached frequencies that made several bridge crew members wince. Well, sure, technically. But you're not very good at it, are you? Been shooting at us for, 3 minutes? 4? Haven't hit anything important yet. Our waste management system actually started working better after one of your shots hit the recycling junction. Gunnery Chief Kreldock leaned over his console. Sir, he's right. We accidentally repaired their sewage processing unit. How do you accidentally repair sewage processing? Apparently, our plasma burst fused a cracked coupling that's been leaking for months. Their waste management efficiency just improved by 12%. Admiral Kesevar stared at the tactical display, where Terminus Ridge continued to float serenely among the expanding clouds of weapons fire that should have reduced it to component atoms. Sir, strategic analyst Vorthkon's voice was barely audible. I'm detecting new signatures around the target station. What kind of signatures? Mining equipment, sir. But it's moving. The tactical display updated, showing dozens of objects detaching from Terminus Ridge and spreading into formation around the station. They looked like industrial equipment, or processors, drilling platforms, automated haulers, but they were maneuvering with the sort of precision typically associated with military hardware. Are those? Commander Thexanol's voice trailed off. Weaponized mining equipment, confirmed Vorthkon. They've turned their entire industrial complex into a defensive system. On the communication feed, Hendricks was still talking. So, anyway, Admiral, you seem like reasonable folks. How about we work out some kind of arrangement? You stop shooting at us, we'll share our coffee. It's really quite good once Mark has figured out the proper water temperature. Admiral Kesevar looked around his bridge at crew members whose expressions suggested they were questioning fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality. Sir, Rendar announced, we're receiving communications from other hegemony ships. They're confused. Put them through. Multiple holographic displays materialized, showing various ship commanders in states of increasing bewilderment. Admiral, this is Captain Vextal of the Logical Conclusion. We just fired a full spread of quantum torpedoes at their power core. They hit something called a heat exchanger, and now the humans are thanking us for improving their heating system. Admiral, Captain Krendor of the Inevitable Result reporting. Our particle beam struck their communications array and somehow boosted their signal strength. They're now broadcasting human music across 17 different frequencies. My crew is developing headaches. Admiral, this is Captain Thocknell of the Reasonable Assumption. The humans just launched something at us. Our sensors identify it as garbage, specifically food waste and used coffee grounds. It's not armed, but it's heading directly for our primary sensor array. Admiral Kesevar closed his eyes, or what passed for eyes among his species. How much time has elapsed since we began the attack? 4 minutes, 37 seconds, sir. And our casualty report? Strategic analyst Vorthkon consulted his displays. 0 human casualties, sir. However, we've lost 3 ships to what appears to be accidental collision with mining debris. 12 ships report various degrees of system malfunction after being hit by improvised projectiles, and the confident assumption just requested emergency maintenance because something called space coffee has gummed up their air recycling system. In the communication feed, Hendricks was now speaking with someone off-camera. Marcus, you might want to see this. These military folks seem really committed to their light show, but they're not accomplishing much. Think we should invite them in for lunch? Vex made that casserole again. Admiral Kesevar realized that he was experiencing something completely absent from hegemony military manuals, the growing certainty that he had made a terrible mistake, but no clear understanding of what that mistake actually was. At the 5-minute mark of what hegemony historians would later classify as the incident we don't discuss, Fleet Admiral Kesevar was forced to confront a possibility that 3 centuries of military doctrine had not prepared him for. The enemy was winning by accident. Casualty report, he demanded, though his voice lacked the confident authority it had possessed 7 minutes earlier. We're down to 127 operational vessels, strategic analyst Vorthkon replied, his carapace now cycling through colors that hadn't been documented in standard emotional response charts. The humans appear to have weaponized their entire station infrastructure. Explain. Well, sir, their waste management system is now launching decomposed organic matter with surprising accuracy. Their mining laser array has been reconfigured into what can only be described as a disco ball of death, and something called their emergency backup power supply just generated an electromagnetic pulse that disabled 17 of our ships. An electromagnetic pulse from a backup power supply? According to their own communications, it's powered by what they call a nuclear fusion accident that we've been meaning to fix, but it mostly just generates heat and occasional sparks. Admiral Kesevar turned toward the main display, where Terminus Ridge continued its impossible existence amid what should have been its own debris field. The station now bristled with improvised defensive systems that violated several basic principles of physics while somehow remaining functional. "Sir," communications specialist Rendar interrupted. "We're receiving multiple priority communications from Hegemony Command. They want status updates. What have you told them?" "Nothing specific, sir." "How do you explain that we're losing to 47 humans and a malfunctioning coffee machine?" Before Admiral Kesevar could formulate a response that wouldn't result in his immediate court-martial, the communication system activated automatically. The holographic display showed Supreme Commander Velkoth, whose reputation for strategic brilliance was matched only by his intolerance for incompetence. "Admiral Kesevar, you are 17 minutes behind scheduled completion of Operation Insignificant Target." "Explain." Admiral Kesevar's sensory stalks drooped. "Sir, we've encountered unexpected resistance." "From 47 mining technicians?" "Well, sir, they've proven resourceful." Supreme Commander Velkoth's expression shifted to the sort of focused attention typically reserved for interrogating prisoners or reviewing execution orders. "Define resourceful." "They've turned their industrial equipment into weapons, sir. And their station appears to be defended by what our xenobiologists describe as aggressive improvisation coupled with contempt for conventional physics." "Put me through to the humans." "Sir, I want to speak with their military commander." Communications specialist Rendar's appendages danced across his console. "Opening channel to Terminus Ridge." The display split, showing both Supreme Commander Velkoth and the interior of the human station, where Chief Engineer Hendricks was now assisted by 2 other humans. One was examining what appeared to be a collection of kitchen appliances wired into their weapons control system. The other was eating something from a can while reading a technical manual. "This is Supreme Commander Velkoth of the Kesevar Hegemony. I demand to speak with your military leader." Hendricks looked up from a device that was sparking in 3 different colors. "Military leader? We don't have one of those. Closest thing would be our safety coordinator, but she's off shift." "Can I take a message?" "You are engaged in active combat against a Hegemony battle fleet." "Well, sure, but it's not like we planned it. You folks showed up and started shooting, so we figured we'd better respond somehow. Marcus here had the idea to hook up the mining lasers to the old emergency protocols." The human identified as Marcus waved cheerfully. "Worked pretty well, too. Haven't lost anybody yet, and our power efficiency is up 12% from all the external energy you've been providing." Supreme Commander Velkoth stared at the transmission feed with the expression of someone watching fundamental laws of reality collapse in real time. "External energy?" "Your weapons fire," explained the 3rd human, not looking up from her manual. "Been feeding it into our collection grid. Free energy is free energy, even if it comes from folks trying to kill us. Thanks for that, by the way." "You're harvesting our weapons fire?" "Waste not, want not," Hendricks replied philosophically. "Plus, it's been powering our new defensive systems. Amazing what you can build when you've got unlimited energy and a complete disregard for manufacturer warranties." Supreme Commander Velkoth turned his attention to Admiral Kesevar. "What defensive systems?" "Sir, they've turned their mining equipment into projectile weapons, their communications array into some kind of sonic attack system, and their waste management into..." Well, it's hard to describe, but 17 of our ships now require complete decontamination. They're attacking you with garbage. Technically, sir, it's processed organic waste mixed with industrial lubricants and what appears to be fermented beverage residue. But it's surprisingly effective at clogging sensor arrays and corroding hull plating. On the human transmission, a new voice could be heard in the background. Hey Hendrix, that thing you rigged up to the hydroponics system just launched a cabbage at something really fast. That normal? Probably not, but roll with it. We're having a good day. Supreme Commander Velkoth closed his eyes and made what appeared to be a conscious effort to maintain his sanity. Admiral, contact the Intelligence Division. I want a full analysis of human military doctrine within the hour. Sir, I already tried. They forwarded my request to the Xenobiology Department, who sent it to Cultural Analysis, who referred me to the Bureau of Anomalous Phenomena. What did they say? They asked if I was filing a combat report or a supernatural event claim. The human transmission continued in the background. Marcus, remember that time you accidentally hooked the coffee machine into the main power grid? Think you could do that again, but with the tractor beam projectors? Already tried? Made coffee that could lift small objects, but it tasted terrible. Worth experimenting with. We've got plenty of time. Supreme Commander Velkoth's voice dropped to the range typically associated with impending violence. How much time have they had to prepare these defenses? Admiral Kesevar consulted his tactical display. Sir, according to our intelligence, they've been improvising everything in real time. Total preparation time appears to be approximately 5 minutes. 5 minutes? They're apparently very good at improvisation, sir. And their equipment seems to have been designed by someone with a complete disregard for conventional engineering principles. Sir, strategic analyst Vorthkon interrupted. I'm receiving reports from other hegemony fleets. The second attack group reports similar difficulties with human installations. The third expeditionary force has requested emergency reinforcements after encountering what they describe as humans with access to industrial equipment and no sense of self-preservation. Supreme Master Commander Velkoth stared at the tactical display showing the remnants of what had once been an overwhelming force now scattered around a mining station that appeared to be celebrating its successful defense by broadcasting something called victory music across multiple frequencies. Sir, Communications Specialist Rendar announced, the humans are transmitting again. Hendrix reappeared on screen, now wearing what appeared to be improvised armor made from mining equipment and kitchen implements. Hey, Supreme Commander, that is your title, right? We've been talking, and we've got a proposal for you. I'm listening. How about you folks head on home, and we'll pretend this never happened. We won't file any complaints with whatever passes for your customer service department, and you can tell everyone you accomplished your mission objectives. Everyone wins. And if we refuse? Hendrix gestured toward something off-screen. Well, Marcus just figured out how to network all our automated systems together, and Vex thinks she can reroute the fusion accident through the communications array. We're not entirely sure what that'll do, but it'll probably be visible from several star systems away. Supreme Commander Velkoth looked at Admiral Kesevar. How long until complete fleet withdrawal? 2 minutes, sir. Make it 1. As the hegemony fleet began its hasty retreat, the final transmission from Terminus Ridge showed the humans returning to their routine maintenance tasks, apparently treating the successful defense of their station as a minor interruption to their normal workday. The last thing Supreme Commander Velkoth heard before the channel closed was Marcus asking if anyone wanted leftover casserole. 6 minutes and 43 seconds after the first shot was fired, the Kesevar hegemony officially declared the engagement at Terminus Ridge a tactical withdrawal pending strategic reassessment. In the more honest records that would never see public distribution, it was classified as the day we learned not to bother humans while they're working. Supreme Commander Velkoth sat in his private quarters aboard the Command Dreadnought Absolute Authority, staring at preliminary reports that read like fever dreams. His aide, Junior Strategic Analyst Krental, shifted nervously in the corner. "Sir, the Intelligence Division has completed their analysis of the engagement." "Let me guess," Velkoth replied wearily. "They've classified it as an anomalous event and recommended we pretend it didn't happen." "Not exactly, sir. They've recommended immediate reclassification of humanity from minor territorial species to do not engage under any circumstances." "Based on one mining station?" "Based on what happened after we engaged one mining station, sir. The Intelligence Division has been reviewing archived encounters with human installations. It seems, well, sir, we're not the first species to have this problem." Krental activated a holographic display showing communication logs from dozens of different civilizations. The entries shared a common theme: initial confidence, followed by confusion, then something that could only be described as existential despair. The Zephyrin Collective reports that humans turned a garbage processing facility into a functioning spacecraft and used it to ram their flagship. The Crystalline Hegemony notes that human engineers somehow convinced their automated defense systems to switch sides mid-battle. The Voidwalkers have an entire department dedicated to studying what they call human engineering impossibilities. Velkoth scrolled through reports with increasing disbelief. Why haven't we seen these before? Because every species that encounters humans seems to reach the same conclusion. It's easier to leave them alone than try to understand what they're doing. Most civilizations have simply edited humans out of their star charts. Edited them out? Marked their space as navigational hazard, stellar phenomenon of unknown origin. It's become standard practice. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't been ignored because they seemed primitive. They'd been ignored because every advanced civilization that encountered them had collectively decided that humans represented a level of chaos that defied rational response. "Sir," Krental continued, "there's something else. The Cultural Analysis Division has been monitoring human communications since the engagement. They want to show you something. A new holographic display activated, showing the interior of Terminus Ridge approximately 1 hour after the battle." The humans were sitting around what appeared to be a makeshift table, sharing a meal and discussing the day's events. "Have to admit," Chief Engineer Hendricks was saying, "that was more exciting than usual, though I still think we should fix that grinding noise in the air recycler." "After we eat," replied Marcus. "Emergency repairs make me hungry." "Think they'll come back?" asked the third human, whose name tag identified her as Vex, Environmental Systems Coordinator. Hendricks shrugged. "Doubt it. Military types don't like surprises, and we're pretty much nothing but surprises. Plus, their weapons fire fixed our heating problem, so we came out ahead." "Should we report this to Colonial Administration?" Vex asked. "What would we tell them?" "Some aliens attacked us, we improvised some defenses, they left, and now our coffee tastes better." "They'd think we were making it up." Marcus nodded thoughtfully. "Besides, paperwork is a pain. We've got quotas to meet and equipment to maintain. Today was weird, but tomorrow's just Tuesday." The transmission continued as the humans finished their meal and began preparations for the next day's mining operations, treating the successful defense of their station against a superior military force as a minor scheduling inconvenience. Supreme Commander Velkoth terminated the display and sat in silence for several minutes. "Sir," Krental ventured. "Draft new fleet orders," Velkoth announced. "All human-controlled space is hereby classified as Area of Operational Concern. Avoid unless mission critical. Any commander who engages human installations without explicit authorization from Supreme Command will be transferred to the Archives Division." "The Archives Division, sir?" "They'll spend their remaining career cataloging historical records in a secure bunker where they can't accidentally start any more wars with mining stations." As the hegemony fleet continued its withdrawal, similar scenes were playing out across dozens of other civilizations. The Galactic Commerce Guild issued new shipping guidelines that recommended treating human space as a weather phenomenon. The Stellar Cartographers Union voted unanimously to classify Earth's local region as prone to navigation hazards of unusual origin. 3 months later, the official hegemony military history of the engagement read simply, "Operation terminated due to logistical considerations. Target deemed non-strategic." The actual after-action reports were sealed in classified archives, with a note suggesting that anyone requiring access should consider a career change. Meanwhile, on Terminus Ridge, the day shift began as usual. Chief Engineer Hendricks examined the still-sparking fusion accident that had somehow become their most reliable power source. Marcus adjusted the coffee machine that now incorporated alien weapons technology and produced beverages capable of minor levitation. Vex completed her daily inspection of the waste management system that had inadvertently become the most effective defensive installation in 3 sectors. The grinding noise in the air recycler continued, because some things never change, even after accidentally redefining galactic military doctrine. And across the galaxy, advanced civilizations continued the long, proud tradition of pretending that humans didn't exist, which, ironically, was exactly how humans preferred it. They had work to do, equipment to maintain, and coffee to drink. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor after all.